I want to bring in jury consultant Robert Swafford. Good to see you again. Okay, based on your experience, does either side, defense or prosecution, have much of a view right now into how the jury is taking all of this in?
So anyone who says that they can read body language and guess what someone's saying or what they're thinking on the jury is either lying to themselves or lying to someone else. Like, you really have no idea. Now, what you do have an idea about is where do they get their news? What do they post on social media? And that kind of information will tell you what is the bias that they're coming in with, which is going to tell you how they're filtering the information.
And does that also tell you, if you're the defense, who's that one or maybe two jurors who could be a holdout that could stop you from a conviction?
Well, and so the thing I was referencing before is confirmation bias. And confirmation bias is a fundamental human bias to reject information that's inconsistent with how you view the world and make up or amplify information that's consistent with how you view the world or what you already believe. And so, yes, that tells you a lot in terms of who are the people that you're talking to.
So let's say that you're someone who has read Donald Trump's books, but you also listen to potentially Michael Cohen's podcast, someone who has been on that podcast, a heavy critic. How do you use that information?
Well, a lot of times, what you're doing whenever you're either crafting your message in opening, your case themes, or also in witness preparation, is trying to find, okay, what are some of the words that this kind of person would use? What are their core values? And how can I tie into those core values? You mentioned that there are two lawyers on the jury. And of course, it's like, okay, what kind of language to use? How sophisticated are you going to be whenever you testify? If you're in an area where there's a very low level of education, you probably need to be very careful about the language that you use so that it doesn't go over the jurors' heads. But with this panel, you can probably not worry too much about that.
So we try to do, unfortunately, sitting in this chair, something that you're exactly telling us probably we shouldn't do, which is to ask people who are in the courtroom how they're reading the jury. But I want to read something that the New York Times pointed out. Not unfamiliar with legal methodology or courtrooms, and that seems to show in his comportment thus far under cross-examination, he, meaning Michael Cohen, is giving short, basic answers for the most part. He's also leaning on one response in particular. Sounds like something I would say, is the phrase that leaves some wiggle room. He's used it to respond to Todd Blanche when he's asked about all the insults he's hurled at Donald Trump. One thing that some of our lawyers have pointed out is he is not answering a direct question that his lawyer may have said to him, just answer yes or no. But do we overread that? Do the jurors not pay quite as much attention, or do they look at that and say, here's a guy who's not fessing up?
So here's what I'd say about that is that one of the things that jury consultants spend a lot of their time doing is preparing people to testify, helping lawyers make sure that not only are the words that are coming out of the person's mouth effective, but how are they being? Like not just are you saying yes, sir, but are you saying yes, sir, and being sarcastic, or are you being authentic and respectful? So that's a big part of what we do. And on big cases, what we'll do is do a focus group or a mock trial where we will show video of the key witnesses and see what the responses are. And more often than not, what will happen is that you will have widely different views of whether or not someone is credible or not. Now, that being said, there are some things that never work. Being too talkative during cross-examination never works. Being antagonistic to a lawyer never works. Trying to get the better of someone cross-examining you never works. And so someone has given him some good advice with regard to giving short answers.
Robert Swafford, this is fascinating stuff. Thank you so much. We appreciate you taking the time to talk to us.